Welcome with another nice talking technical show. We're really inundated with requests, so I'm going to see if I can cover most of them. But maybe you missed me for a few weeks. I was doing a shoulder operation. This one I had to fix after an ugly bicycle accident. And thank you for all the emails and even some jokes. Some guys actually wants to borrow me their tricycle so that I don't fall off a bike again. But and maybe some guys say, listen, you must rather drive around with a car instead of cycling. But I love it, and maybe I can cycle again in future. Well, let's start off. And Joe said to me, listen, Frans, can you maybe look at Impala Platinum and just tell me where can this stock go? Now, let's first go to a weekly chart. And I just want to show Joe here, first of all, where did we get the initial signal from? And because he said to me, he watched the show, and he said when we started showing the chart that evening, he thought, oh no, man, this stock will never rally. And he said, listen, maybe I must just buy a few. He said, but listen, I bought a few, but that was a mistake. I would have bought much more, but it doesn't matter. As you can all remember, I mean, the stock fell off a cliff. And right at this point, at this low point of around 22 Rand, the stock sort of hovered a little bit, and it gave us a little bit of a bounce. And I can remember that was around that 20 Rand level that I showed it on the show. And there you are. And I just want to maybe just zoom it out for you guys a little bit. And I drew in another little clue here, but you'll see now. Remember, it fell off a cliff. It gave it full of a cliff. Sorry, it fell off a cliff. It gave us a little bounce. It bounced up there, and then you saw the first higher low. That was around 20 Rand. That was when we started highlighting the stock on the show. But in the meantime, while that was taking place, the stock after a few weeks developed and gave us this beautiful falling wedge. Now, always keep in mind that the falling wedge, or even a rising wedge, is an early signal that something wants to take place and that the stock is preparing for like a relief rally. Now, what happened was when the stock broke above this 19 Rand level, it shot through the roof. But I think the final clue for Joe or for any viewer was when the stock actually broke above the 40-week moving average. There's the 40-week moving average. It broke above it. It came back to test it. That's what we call a positive or a good technical goodbye kiss. And that just is to say that the share price came to kiss this 40-week moving average, and it actually acknowledged the support of this 40-week moving average. And we find it a lot, that the stock will break above it, it comes to test it, and then it rallies from there all the way. Now Joe would like to know how far can the stock go. But I want to just ponder a little bit on this 40-week moving average. See what happened here. Well, that was around October 2016. Look what it tried to break, and every time it came back to test it, and it could never do that, and it failed. But there's another golden rule. The moment a stock rallies above the 40-week moving average or falls below a 40-week moving average, if it really gets to a stretch to a certain point, it always bounces back. In the same case here, it rallied away, and it's coming back. Now, I think this rally from about, let's call it 24 Rand, all the way to 67 Rand in really a matter of weeks, I think is maybe just too good to be true. And if you haven't got the stock by now, I don't think it's now the time just to rush in. And the reason why I say that, the stock is also reaching a very important resistance level. And I just want to draw it in here, then the viewers can see. There you are. Let's just use that middle one there. There you are. We're almost there, and that is sitting at 68 Rand 50 cents. So for me, Impala Platinum must break this resistance, 68.80 to 68.40 to actually go all the way to the top. Now, the reason being is, remember, here we've got a low around the 20 Rand level. Then it worked for a few months again for another low that we will call a double bottom. Now, this double bottom, believe it or not, will only be confirmed if the stock can break above, let's call it 70 Rand. If it breaks above 70 Rand, this double bottom will be confirmed. And what will be the target be, Joe? Let's just show you. Let's use that level all the way to the 70 Rand level. And if we extend that, there you are. If we do an extension there, the stock can easily go back to 114 Rand. Now a lot of viewers will just say, Frans, that is almost unrealistic. It cannot happen. Well, I just want to take you back. If you look at the stock, look where was the high of this company. I mean, this is Impala Platinum. It is a platinum counter, and its high in 2008, believe it or not, was close to 350 Rand. So it's early days. If you look at the stock, it only looks like it's turning around now. But for guys that wants to buy in now, after a rally from 20 to 70 Rand in a matter of a few months, I think maybe wait on a pullback, because usually you will find that some guys come back and they just take a little bit of profit and then you can get in. But I mean, if you want to buy it, nothing will hold you back. But the problem is, with a steep rally like this, where's your stop loss? It's a massive stop loss. So just be a little bit careful. But I mean, Impala Platinum gave us a beautiful rally. And Joe, what's your answer? It can maybe go on this formation, let's say close to 114 Rand in time to come. But then, remember, it must break above 70 Rand. Well, you can almost say a desperate reader said to me, listen, Frans, can you maybe just discuss Mediclinic for me? I love the stock. He said to me, one of his brokerage friends bought the company many months ago because he believed that it's maybe a good buy. He says, but really he's now almost, I don't want to use that ugly word, but he said, I had enough. So I then looked at the chart and I said to him, listen, there's two things that worry me. First of all, this is that it's still working on a consolidation. Now, we know that's one of the things that worries me, because a consolidation can take a bit longer than what you anticipate. Now, what I see here is this rising wedge after this consolidation is going to do either one of two things. It's either going to break to the downside below 59.20, take the stock back to around 55 and where close to that low was. That's the one thing that worries me a little bit. But the other thing that worries me is also, look at these upper shadows. And I would like to show the viewers here. That worries me a little bit. When I see a stock doing this, look at these upper shadows of these candles. It just tells you there's not buyers that's convinced. They're a little bit nervous. They're a little bit worried. Now, if they're worried, maybe you need to be worried as well. So the viewer that is nervous now, I just say, and remember, his friend bought it from a while back now. I want to see what's happening here. And this is what's catching my eye. Just want to draw in that line there. And then you will see what I'm seeing here. I'm seeing an inverse head and shoulder maybe developing. There's the left shoulder. Let's just draw that one in. Sorry, let's just do it right. There you are. There's the left shoulder. There's the head. And we're working on the right shoulder at the moment. So it tells me that the stock is finding its feet, but the clue is it must break above this neckline. And that neckline is sitting at 62 Rand and 40 cents. So if it can break above 62.40, we can say to ourselves, almost like Impala Platinum, that it can turn around. And what's my target to the top? I've got, of course, two targets. There's the one. I just want to extend it. That's from the shoulders bottom to the neckline upwards. That gives me 65 Rand 14. And the other one is from the head to the neckline. And if I extend that, it can maybe take the stock all the way back to 67 Rand 40. So, yes, I'm also nervous about Mediclinic International on behalf of the viewer, but I believe that if this neckline can turn around, we can see a nice rally. And on the other hand, where's your stop loss? Will be the low of this right shoulder, and that will be, and there's the level, exactly 57 Rand and 80 cents. So, yes, that's the story of Mediclinic International. Well, there was another viewer phoned me and said, listen, let's look at EOH, please. I bought EOH. I'm desperate here. I think that it was a good company, and this company fell on it. Now, let's just have a look here. I mean, look at EOH. First of all, you can see clearly all the lower highs. There's a high, there's a lower high, there's a lower high, there's a lower high, another one. So the stock is actually working on numerous lower highs. And that means, let's just put the fundamentals aside with the company, with the Microsoft license. Let's just leave that aside at the moment. I don't like the chart because what I see here, I see a head and shoulder formation. Now, Now, on the other hand, if I look at this head and shoulder formation, I really hope it doesn't play out, because then it tells me that it's going to go even lower. I mean, there's the left shoulder, there's the head, there's the right shoulder, and where can it go to? If I do an extension here, because it's already below the neckline, it can maybe go as low as, and there you are, it can go maybe as low as 12 Rand. So for the viewer, unfortunately, I think if you want to sell the stock, you're too late now. I mean, this company fell all the way from 40 Rand in a matter of a few weeks to 14 Rand, 15 Rand. And the other thing, unfortunately, we've seen with companies, it can also go under. I mean, Group 5 is a typical example. One of the stern performances of a few years back, suddenly this week said, listen guys, we're going to throw in the towel. Now the same thing here with EOH. They can also get to that point. But for me, technically, it can maybe go to 12 Rand. I'm a little bit nervous, and I will only get positive. And maybe maybe a little bit too conservative here, but I want to use the horizontal resistance line. I will only say I will get positive about the company when it can start to break above this, let's call it 19 Rand 80 level. Only above that. Below that, unfortunately, I must remain negative. And I know some guys will say, yes, Frans, but there is gaps to be filled there. And I mean, the stock needs to go higher and close this gap. Yes, that is true. But at the moment, it must break this resistance line to show some momentum that it can go and close this gap between 25 Rand 90 and 28 Rand. 26 Rand. In the meantime, the momentum is clearly to the downside. And we've seen now in the past that when a stock comes under pressure, it can remain under pressure for quite a while. So sit on your hands, but hopefully it does not go to 12 Rand in time to come.